Hello again. Let's get into the Instant Farmer chapter number 33. Back in his apartment, Ken takes a seat on his couch. He looks at his phone. Maybe he should call Sarah. He hasn't heard from Sarah all day. He misses her. He wants to make plans with her. Sarah is special. Maybe they can stay in tonight. Yeah, that sounds good. They could spend some quality time together. He wants to call her. Maybe a text message would be better. No, it has to be a phone call. That way he could hear her voice. Sarah says, "Hello, honey." Ken says, "Hi to you, dear." Sarah says, "Do you have plans tonight? I am available. I wanted to call you earlier." Ken says, "I told my mom about you. We have to get together tonight. I was thinking that we should stay in tonight. Do you want to come over?" Sarah says, "That sounds perfect. What do you want to do for food?" Ken says, "Maybe you could pick something up on your way here. I like tacos tonight." Sarah says, "That sounds perfect. I know exactly where I could get tacos." Ken says, "Okay, see you in an hour and a half. Bye." Sarah says, "Bye." Sarah really is special. Ken is in for such a treat. He knows that he could probably clean his apartment a bit better. He's expecting company now, so he tidies up a bit. He doesn't have time for the mop, but he can sweep the floors. He can also clean the coffee table. That should be enough. Sarah is here, and she has tacos. Tacos on Wednesday are such a good idea. Ken quickly welcomes her into his apartment. She places a bag of food on the coffee table in his living room. She gives him a kiss and tells him how much she missed him. So, the two of them can now sit on the couch. Dinner tonight comes with hot sauce, as well as avocado sauce. They are in for a treat. The food is still warm. Sarah is reaching into the bag of food so she can divide the portions. Steak tacos are first. Ken wants extra avocado sauce. Before eating, Ken lands a big kiss on Sarah's cheek. She starts to laugh. Sarah says, "How do you like dinner?" Ken says, "This dish is one of my favorites. Thanks for picking dinner up tonight." Sarah says, "My meeting this morning went really well. Our company is about to expand its channel lineup. We're adding to the cable packages." Ken says, "That sounds great. Maybe we can turn the television on." "Maybe not." Sarah says, "All we need is music. Could you turn on the radio, please?" Ken says, "I went to visit Peter earlier. He is such a nice man. We are really getting along well." Sarah says, "If that makes you happy." Ken is really into dinner tonight. He likes the hot sauce. He likes Sarah even more. The music is playing. The dinner was excellent. The company was perfect. The tacos are almost finished. Sarah wants to know if Ken wants the last one. He does, so Ken eats while Sarah cleans up the coffee table. She wants to put all the containers inside the large bag. Ken says, "Dinner was excellent." Sarah says, "So that taco restaurant is one of your favorites? Good to know." Ken says, "Are you going to stay here tonight?" Sarah says, "I'm very tired. I think we can make love. Then it is time for me to go home." Sarah stands up and invites Ken into the bedroom. She leads the way. They are standing up beside the bed. They are holding hands, and they are facing each other. They start to kiss. The hand holding continues. The kissing is becoming more and more passionate. Their hands are all over the place now. Ken enters his bed. He goes under the blankets. Sarah is very quick to join him under the blankets. Their love is especially good tonight. But now it is time for Sarah to go home. She jumps out of bed in the nude. She looks great. Trying to locate her clothes, Ken is watching her with awe. There is a beautiful naked woman inside his bedroom. He needs to stare at her. She has located all of her clothes. She starts to get dressed. Fully clothed now, she locks eyes with Ken. Ken is more than happy to meet her gaze. Ken stands up. He is nude. Sarah tells him to put on a pair of pants so then he could walk her to the door. Ken quietly finds the pants that he was wearing earlier. He doesn't need a shirt or underwear or shoes. He needs to show his girlfriend out. Still in the bedroom, Sarah comes up to Ken and gives him a hug and a big kiss. She doesn't really want to leave, but she should leave. She holds his hand again. This time she is leading him to the door. One more hug, one more kiss, and she's gone. Ken feels like going to bed early tonight. He had such a nice visit from Sarah. He wants to end his day with that memory, but he should probably call his best friend Greg tonight. He wants to remind Greg that they are meeting for lunch tomorrow. He's pretty sure that Greg will remember, but just in case, he should call. Greg says, "Hi, buddy." Ken says, "Hey, just said goodbye to Sarah a few minutes ago." Greg says, "And you don't feel like going out tonight? That's fine. I'm seeing Jennifer now." Ken says, "Don't let me bother you. I want to remind you about lunch tomorrow. You and Lola are expected to visit me." Greg says, "Yeah, I remember. Thanks for calling. Listen, I should get going. See you tomorrow." That concludes this chapter. I hope you enjoyed listening. Again, if you want to read along with me, then you should pick up a copy of my ebook from Kindle. Goodbye until the next chapter.